Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Ella and this is Keeping Up with Ella. Today's video I'm going to be talking about how to thrive in school. Nowadays school is all about passing, it's no longer about learning, and that's where the problem stands. How to thrive in school is more of how I thrive in school, very specific to high school, because I literally don't really know anything about how to thrive in college. From getting good grades to maintaining a good GPA, managing your social life, extracurriculars, everything, studying habits, studying tips, a whole bunch of stuff that I'm going to talk about. This is something I really like to talk about. If you're enjoying this video already, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. There's so much to cover in this video, so without further ado, let's just get into the video. It was figure out what method of studying works for you and stick to it. People study in different ways. Some people study by just reading, some people study by reading and writing, some people study by answering questions, some people study by listening, study with music, some people can't study with music. Like, people study in different ways, so it's very important that you figure out what way of studying works for you and you stick to it. You might see someone that gets good grades studying in a certain way, and you might want to study just like them because you want to get good grades as well. But like, if their method of studying doesn't work for you, you can't force it, because if you force it, you're literally not going to achieve anything. But I study in different ways depending on the subject, depending on what I'm learning or what I'm trying to study. I have different methods of studying different things, so people are like that. Some people study in one particular way and it works for them, so it's really just about figuring out what works for you and sticking to it and just maintaining that, because it's not by force to do what everyone else is doing. Is be aware of your body clock, and what I mean by this is the best time that your body can learn and retain the knowledge and information. The best time for you to study or do your homework, some people cannot study in the night because it doesn't work for them. Some people study better in the morning, some people study better in the night, some people study better in the middle of the day. It's really up to you. Being aware of your body clock is very important, because I feel like when you're aware of your body clock, then you know the better times for you to study, do homework and stuff like that, so you will always get the job done. If you don't study well at night and you always keep your homework and stuff to the night, then it's difficult for you to get it done, rather than if you had just done it at the time that your body does it better. So it's all about being aware of your body clock and knowing how to manage that, so that you can structure your study timetables or the time that you do your homework according to your body clock and how your body like responds to information at certain times of the day. Point is something that's very important, and this is setting goals. Setting goals is so important. Like, a lot of people don't even understand. So you set realistic and specific goals. Okay, let's say your termly average is always 85%. Throughout 2020 it's always 85%. That was your average, and then for 2021 you're like, okay, I want to get a higher average than I did in 2020. It's a good goal because you are aiming to achieve higher than you did before, but because you said I just want to get higher could be 86. That is higher, but it's not really a very big, you know, difference or achievement. It's practically the same thing. Say you always get 85 and then your goal is, okay, I want to get 90. That way you will strive for that 90 and you know exactly what you want. When you set goals, you know what you want and you know how to get there, or you figure out how to get there, and then it's very easy for you to, you know, try to get there. But when you don't have any goals, you don't really have anything that you're trying to reach, so you just do things the way you can or the way that's like convenient for you. The next thing is literally listening in class. Like, I don't know how else I can like emphasize on this, but listen in class. Something I noticed about myself is that when I don't pick up something in class, I really struggle to understand it for a while. A lot of people have this mentality that's like, okay, yeah, I can always read it later. I have the page in the textbook, I can read it later, I can teach myself later. I always heard this thing that like, oh, there's some things that the teacher will say in class that you will not see in the textbook, and that is sometimes true, sometimes it's not. Once I don't pick it up in class, I struggle to retain it. Like, I struggle to understand it, and like, let's say we have a test or an exam, it's always going to be questions on that topic that I don't get right, and it's annoying because I know it's because I didn't listen in class. So I feel like just actually listen in class. It won't kill you to listen in class. Just sit down, focus. I feel like listening in class is actually much more important than people lay it out to be, and this is the reason why I'm very extra in my favorite classes. Like, when there's a class that I genuinely enjoy and I actually like and I'm interested in, I'm very extra in these classes. Like my physics class, people in my physics class know how annoying I can be when it comes to physics. They know how irritating I am and how I'm always like doing extra in the class, because it's one of my favorite classes, and like I don't want to ever be behind, you know. I don't want to be lagging behind. I don't want to not understand what we're doing. So because that's one of my favorite classes, I'm very extra in it, and I always listen in physics class to an extent where my friends literally want to slap me, and I don't want to be frustrated in my favorite class. Hence why I'm so extra in my favorite classes, and I know my friends notice this about me. The next point is take smart and resourceful notes. Now your notes don't necessarily have to be aesthetic. I personally write notes in a way that like pleases my eyes, because when my notes look good, I'm satisfied. And they spend an hour trying to make their notes so cute, so aesthetic, but they still don't know anything. They still fail their exams. There are people like that, and that's wrong. The way I write my notes is specific to me. Like I write my notes in a way that I can understand and a way that helps me. Smart and resourceful. You don't have to copy the entire textbook into your notes. I really don't understand that thing when you copy the textbook right into your note. Like that's so dumb. It's a waste of time. Don't be discouraged if you see the person sitting next to you having the cutest and the nicest, neatest notes and yours aren't the same. As long as you understand your notes and your notes are helping you, I feel like that's the most important thing. The next point is take everything seriously, and by everything I mean every test, every exam, every classwork, activity. Take everything seriously. There's something that people in my school do a lot, a test or a classwork that seems so stressful. You now ask the teacher, okay, is this going to go in our reports? Are they going to record this? Is this going to, you know, affect my grades? Because they want to know whether they should put as much effort into it. It's not only the things that are going into your results or going into your grades that you should take seriously, because sometimes these little tests and these little activities that teachers randomly give you, they might come in handy at a time you least expect. Now for IGCSE, they predicted our grades based on, like, I guess our performances in the past. If you don't usually put effort into your work, GCSE exam, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to break my back, I'm going to sweat and make sure I get all A stars. That opportunity was taken away from us because of the pandemic. Just because you didn't put effort into your work in the past, you get a low predicted grade and your results are lower than they should be. Make sure you put enough effort into everything they give you, be it a tiny activity, a tiny test. And these little things can come in handy when you least expect, or can really determine so much for you. I would say is to plan and organize. Now a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people neglect this because it's too much work for them. Planning literally changes your life academically. A lot of people neglect this because they don't have the energy, they don't have the time. It seems like so much work. You don't need to have a physical plan. Now that there is a pandemic, a lot of people have online school, a lot of people have online work, but planning and organizing yourself when it comes to your schoolwork is actually life-changing, and I feel like a lot of people don't do this. You should implement into your studying habits, because I feel like it really helps out. From having like a little study timetable, having like time blocking your day, stuff like that. Like I feel like when you start doing that and becomes natural, it doesn't seem like stress anymore. It just becomes something that's part of you and something that helps you in the long run. So I'm editing this video and I realized I didn't really talk much about organization of your school resources, and this is something that's life-changing academically. Because you have everything organized and you know where to find it, it's going to be easy for you to find it. And when it comes to like printouts, having like a folder where you can literally put all these different printouts according to the subject, so important, because one day if you need one of these resources, it's very easy for you to find it. Even if it's just your computer, having your desktop organized, having folders for the different subjects and having files on the different topics in these different subjects. It seems like so much work again, but I promise you that once you start, it changes your life academically. So yeah, so I wanted to quickly explain something that I have a photographic memory. Now not everyone has a photographic memory, people are different. My photographic memory is very specific to my handwriting. Sometimes I can like store images of my notes in my brain. Like sometimes when I stare at my handwriting or like diagrams and stuff that I make for a very long time, I remember it. Like I take like a mental picture of it. Sometimes I flip through my camera roll and I like just try to like find where, you know, that information is hidden. Times even if I don't know the answer, just because I have a mental picture of this page in my notes, I can literally write the exact same thing in the exam even if I have no idea what it means. I just wanted to explain my photographic memory because I know some people have this but they don't really know how to use it to full potential. Looking at an entire thing and like just taking a mental picture without looking at the book, sometimes I'll now try to remember the way I wrote it. My photographic memory helps me out, especially at the last result, but I know not everyone has a photographic memory. I just wanted to explain it in case there's someone there that has a photographic memory but doesn't know how to use it to full potential. This is something that I actually completely forgot to talk about in the video, but I felt the need to. Like the company that you keep in school, it's very important to surround yourself with people who positively impact you, people who don't bring you down, people who are not preying on your downfall, people who uplift you and motivate you to always want to do better, people that challenge you. Those are the kind of people that you should surround yourself with, and I'm so lucky to have my closest friends in school as people who always, like, you know, keep me on my toes. I feel like sometimes you just need to analyze your life. Like look around, look at the people around you. Are they helping you? Are they making you a better version of yourself, or are they bringing you down? Are they making you do worse than you should? Sometimes just think about these things and try to fix your situation. Surround yourself with toxic people who are always literally preying on your downfall, then that could just be the one thing that's stopping you from reaching your ultimate success. That's just my take. People literally have so much potential, they could be so much better, but because they want to please an audience, because they want to like get validation from some certain people, then they literally, you know, bring themselves down to other people's level just so they can satisfy them. And I feel like that doesn't make any sense. Surround yourself with people who do not bring you down but lift you up. So that's really important. Stop procrastinating. Don't leave it to the last minute. Now, I am a hypocrite to be saying this because I am a crazy procrastinator. Like, I can be so lazy sometimes, and it's not a good thing. I procrastinate, but then I always get my work done. I don't encourage you to procrastinate, but I just want to say that when I procrastinate, I always get it done. Sometimes I even get it done better than I would have if I had done it immediately. You shouldn't procrastinate, just get it done on time. What if something should just go wrong and there's nothing you can do? Just because you have like 2 weeks to do an assignment doesn't mean you should do it on the last day of the second week. So yeah, when you're learning some certain things, like, convince yourself that it makes sense even though you know it doesn't. Like, I don't think chemistry makes sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, when they're teaching us, I'm just like, what? Like, this literally does not make sense. But I try to convince myself and force myself to believe that it makes sense so that it doesn't stop me from, you know, doing well. This is what I do for like topics that I don't really understand, or like subjects that I don't really like, even though you literally don't think it makes sense. But because you convince yourself that it makes sense, you're still able to get the work done. The thing is, don't cram. Instead of cramming the information the night before your exams or 2 days before your exam, use a periodic review system. You learned something in class today, once in a while go back to it, read it and understand. When you periodically review information over time, you transfer the information from your short-term memory to your long-term memory, and then you won't forget important facts, equations and other stuff when the exam time comes. See it like this: if the night before your exams you try to cram all this information, that information is in your short-term memory, and because it's in your short-term memory, it can easily escape your short-term memory and you might not remember it when you need it in the exam. And that happens to a lot of people that cram. You periodically review your work over time and you transfer it to your long-term memory. Your long-term memory means you're remembering things over a long time. Even if it was 2 weeks ago that you last studied this thing, because it's in your long-term memory, when you have the question in the exam or the test, it's easy for you to remember it and write down the correct answer. The thing is, read ahead. So cliche because everyone always says this, but it's so effective. When you're learning that topic in class, it's so easy for you to just answer questions, pick up the information quick, and like you grasp it faster than others. Other people will be learning it for the first time, so they might struggle to understand it at first, and when you have activities or whatever on that topic, you do better than others, or you respond to it faster than others. Teaching someone. Now, this is something that really helps me. People ask me for help. When people ask me to explain things to them, I actually like explaining things to people because it makes me feel like, okay, yeah, I know this, I remember this. And the fact that I can give my knowledge to someone else definitely means that I know, you know, what I'm saying. You need to familiarize yourself with the way exam questions are set and the way they structure the questions. That way you know how to break it down and answer it the way you should. The thing is about flashcards. I personally don't use flashcards because I don't have time for it. But if you are going to use flashcards, there's a system that I would definitely recommend. This is called the Leitner system. I don't know if it's Leitner, I don't know how to pronounce it. You sort your flashcards into groups according to how well you know the information. The first group would have flashcards that have information that you might not always remember very easily, or you struggle to remember. And the fifth group could have the group of cards that like has information that you always remember and you're really good at. So you have 5 different groups. Take a flashcard from group 1, which has the stuff that you might not always remember. If you always get the answers right, and move it to the next group, which is like, you know, stuff that you might know better than the first group. If you don't get it right, then you keep it in the first group, group 1. Now, because you don't remember this information a lot, you might decide to revise it. Like every day you revise this information because you don't know it that well. In like group 3, for example, you try to revise it every 3 days. You know it well enough, but it's still not like the stuff that you're really good at, so you can revise it every 3 days. And then the stuff in group 5, you might revise it every 5 days because you know those things very well, but you should most definitely still revise it so you don't forget it. Organize your flashcards according to how well you know things so that you are using your flashcards effectively. Is revise with someone if it helps. So if studying with people helps you, then you should definitely, you know, study with people, branch out, get more information, learn new things that other people might know that you don't know. People might learn things from you as well. But if it doesn't help you, it's literally not by force. The next thing is seek help if you need it. Many people have strong head when it comes to school. It's so dumb. Like, if you genuinely don't understand the topic or you don't know how to do it, seek help if you need it, whether it's from a teacher, whether it's from a friend, whether it's from a tutor, something. Just make sure you seek help if you don't understand, because doing, oh, I'm too big to ask questions, I'm too big to seek help, because at the end of the day you'll be the one to fail. Take care of your physical health, and by this I mean sleep, food, exercise. The human body needs time to sleep. Sleeping is so important. If you don't sleep, you are literally harming yourself. I know sometimes staying up studying can be effective for some people. Just make sure you don't stay up to the next time where you have like an hour of sleep, because that's useless, and an hour of sleep will not get you through an entire school day. The thing is food. Make sure you're eating well. Make sure you're always eating, you know, balanced diets and whatnot. I also wanted to add that you should never starve yourself all in the name of studying. Like, it literally does not make sense. Make sure you are treating your body well. The next thing is about managing extracurriculars and additional responsibilities, sports, clubs and stuff. So it's always good to know how to manage these things. Participating in extracurriculars like clubs and sports is very important. Let these extracurriculars, you know, make you lose focus of your schoolwork, because they're equally important. I like to include myself in things, and I like to put myself out there, not to the extent where I'm not doing like 20 different things and I can't even focus on one subject in school. It doesn't make sense. I really wanted to make sure I emphasize on is that the ultimate study method does not exist. There is no ultimate study method in the world that can guarantee you 100%. It's all about you and all about the effort that you put in and how determined you are, your goals. I'm personally an overachiever, so in everything I do, I like to do my best. Academic excellence is so important to me. I like to be extra. I like to get these things done because it's important to me. You might not like it, and I literally don't care. I do these things for myself and for my personal satisfaction. Don't let someone fall off their path just because you're falling off yours. And I feel like it's easier to hear these things from someone who is around your age, or who, you know, can relate to you, the struggle. Even if you did not gain anything from this video, the one thing I want you to gain and take away from this video is that always try. You will never know how much you can achieve until you try. There are people that don't reach their full potential because they don't try. At the end of the day, your grades don't define you. There's a couple numbers on your script do not define the person that you are. They do not make you any less of yourself. I know sometimes these numbers have a really big effect on your life, but your grades do not define you. Numbers on a piece of paper do not tell you who you are. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you liked, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below for more videos like this and more videos in general. So yeah, I guess that's all. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.